Hi everyone, good afternoon. Okay, thank you for joining us today. Okay, let me see. You can all see my screen, right? I believe. Let me just confirm that it's the right slide. Yes, okay. So for today, we have one practice of editing. Okay, we have your oral communication plan response as well as spoken interaction. Okay, students, so I'll be giving you some time to think about your responses, okay, for the plan response as well as spoken interaction. And now I'll go through an answer that I feel if you want to include, you can always include. If not, always think about your own responses. Okay? Now for editing, okay, remember just to read through the passage first. Don't be in such a haste to complete the blanks. Okay, identify the tense. Is it past, present, or future? That will definitely help you in terms of editing the grammar. Okay, look for discrepancies in tense or subject-verb agreement. Identify the sentences that have no errors because you're supposed to put a tick, right? In our system, it is a Y, okay, but for today, you can actually put a tick, okay, and then you fill in the blanks with the correct answers. Okay, students, I'm going to give you some time, okay, to actually try out this practice. I'm not sure how many of you have actually completed it, all right, but I'll give you some time to finish this up. We'll go through the answers and then we'll focus on the oral section. Okay, so it's 5:02 now. I'll give you 8 minutes. 5:10 p.m. we'll go through the answers. Okay, students? If you've got any questions along the way, you can just chat with me, all right? Okay, guys, come, let's go through the answers now. Okay, I hope we managed to finish it. Okay, now I'll read out the passage first, okay, before we go through the answers, all right? There are a number of World War II memorials in Singapore which pay tribute to the many who lost their lives during those dark years. Reflections at Bukit Chandu presents the role of the Malay Regiment in the defense of Bukit Chandu. The museum is located close to where the Battle of Bukit Panjang is fought, which was Singapore's last stand against the invading Japanese army. At the battle box, the events that taken place on the day that Singapore surrendered are reproduced in an underground bunker that was once the headquarters of the British Malaya Command. At the site of Singapore's former surrendering to the Japanese stands memories at Old Fort Factory, which presents life in Singapore by Japanese occupation, while the life of Allied prisoners of war are shown at Changi Museum. The Civilian War Memorial is devoted to civilians who died during the war. Okay, I'll go through the answers now. All right, 1 second. Let me just... Okay. There are a number of World War II memorials in Singapore which pay tribute to the many who lost, past tense, their lives, because we're talking about during those dark years in the past. Okay, reflections at Bukit Chandu represents the role of the Malay Regiment in the defense of, this is a tick actually, okay, this sentence is all correct, Bukit Chandu. The museum is located, okay, something that has been established from the past, close to where the Battle of Bukit Panjang was fought, past tense, okay, which was Singapore's last stand against the invading Japanese army. At the battle box, the events that took place, okay, we are talking about something in the past, okay, on the day that Singapore surrendered are reproduced, okay, past tense, in an underground bunker that was once the headquarters of the British Malaya Command, sorry. Okay, at the side of this is a tick. Singapore's former surrender, not surrendering, but surrender to the Japanese stands memories at Old Fort Factory, which presents life in Singapore under Japanese occupation. Okay, it's not by, but basically we were ruled under the Japanese, right? Under Japanese occupation, while the lives of Allied prisoners, right? Okay, plural, of war are shown at Changi Museum. The Civilian War Memorial is devoted to civilians who died during the war. All right, students. Okay, now we will go through plan response. Okay, just a reminder for you. I had gone through this last month. Okay, let me see. Let me open the chat. Can I say during Japanese? 1 second, let me just read. Question, what is that? During Japanese. Okay, let's read the sentence. Singapore's foremost surrender to the Japanese stands memories at all for which represents life in Singapore. Life in Singapore. No, because this is actually testing you for preposition. Okay, so I would say it's under Japanese occupation, not during. Okay, thanks for your response though. Okay, Chihang, thank you very much. Okay, let me just move on to plan response now. Okay, remember this section, right, requires you to give a response of up to 2 minutes. Okay, you will watch a video clip. Okay, you will be followed by a prompt. It will be followed by a prompt. Okay, you answer the prompt basically, right? What are you assessed on, students? Your ability to present your ideas and opinions fluently and effectively engage the listener. Okay, so when you are planning out your response later, please remember that this is your main aim, okay, that everything flows fluently and that the examples you are sharing is basically able to engage the listener. Okay, I would love for you to be able to type out or even respond to me if I'm going to ask you the question later, which I will show you, but I'll give you time to think about it. Okay, if you're too shy to, speak it aloud, just type to me in the chat. Okay, what we are looking for will be your development and organization of ideas and how you express them. Of course, you try to express them in a very expressive manner. It's not so boring, right? You're able to engage the listener. Okay, so a well-considered response, which is well-developed and organized. So this is out of 10, okay, for your planned response. Uses a wide range of well-chosen vocabulary and structures. All right, students, remember the 4 approaches to well-considered response. Okay, what is the circles method where you zoom in? Okay, where you talk about something in general. For example, you can talk about the world. You can zoom into regions. Okay, you can zoom into country, right? You can zoom into area or neighborhood for that matter. Okay, that's what circles mean, the zooming in. Okay, of ideas if you are to present your responses. Okay, for time, we're comparing between or among different time zones. Okay, it could be the past, present, future. Okay, so you're bringing out a point that demonstrates the difference, okay, among these 3 different time zones. That's what we have for time. Okay, this is an approach for you to answer the question, basically ideas that you can think about if you're stuck, it doesn't come naturally to you. The angle of which you respond, you can use one of these 4 approaches. 5W1H, right? You construct a story. Remember, this is a very common primary school composition technique, right? You construct a story by using 5W1H, okay? Who, what, when, where, why, how. Okay, fill up the blanks of your response using the 5Ws and 1H. Okay, or you could also consider the key method, which is finding a solution to a problem. If you're not sure of how to answer, think about a challenge that the question poses. For example, if they ask you, how do you decide on what you would like to have for lunch? Then you can say, usually I'm spoiled for choice. Okay, but my mom maybe or someone offered me a solution, right? Okay, which is to consider the shortest queue if I do not have enough time at a hawker center, or the longest queue, because that would mean that the food quality is probably guaranteed, because the long queue, usually people only queue up for a long period of time if the food is worth the wait, right? So you present a problem, which is that you're not sure about how to go about selecting your food choice, and with a solution. These are the solutions provided. Okay, students? Now, this is the prompt. Okay, let me just play the video for you. Give me a second. All right, students. So basically, this is my question for the 3rd question for the spoken interaction, right? Small choices become habits, small choices become actions, actions become habits, and habits become a way of life. So over here in this video, you notice that this guy over here, right? He has a challenge in terms of, he faces different challenges daily, right? To pick an option. Okay, which choice is he going to make? Okay, let me just go back there. All right. So the question prompt, okay, for plan response, do you make careful choices every day? Why or why not? Okay, students, so using the PEAL format, okay, I'll let you to go and plan out your response. Okay, I'll give you 5 minutes because for the actual exam itself, you're given 5 minutes. Later for spoken interaction, I'll give you a bit more time. Okay, but for just, we're under, as in just to create a simulation of your exam condition, okay? Now it's 5:23, 5:28 p.m. Okay, I'll go through a sample response with you. Okay, so take some time to actually plan out your answers, all right? Okay, guys, come, we'll go through the answers, okay? Anybody has any response, please talk to me about it in the chat, okay? I don't really want to pinpoint, so please just help me out with that, okay? Share your thoughts, at least in point form. All right, now, you make careful choices every day, so I'll actually go the route of picking out keywords and their definition, okay? Excuse me. So what would I say are the keywords of this question, right? Okay, careful choices and everyday, basically, right? So this is March. Okay, so careful choices means that you make very deliberate decisions after thinking about them, right? Okay, after much thought, you make some thoughtful decisions, okay? Every day, of course, is daily, on a daily basis. Okay, so I'm not sure what responses some of you have, right? Okay, but let's just look at what I thought might actually be a good response. Okay, of course you can adapt or adopt whatever point you would like from here. Okay, yes, so you're answering directly to the question, right? Oops, sorry. Do you make careful choices every day? Yes, I try to make careful choices every day, especially with regards to my diet and food choices, because that's very important, right? Food is what makes you. Okay, some activities are routine in nature, such as breakfast options or even recess options, right? Okay, so you can pick what you want to have for breakfast or recess, right? You have full authority to decide, right? For these meals that I decide, because usually dinner, mom or dad decides, right? Whoever rather, right? Who is in charge of planning the menu, okay? For these meals that I decide and have full control over, I try to opt for the healthier options, such as fruit and perhaps a sandwich, okay? Considered quite light, considered relatively healthy. Yeah, of course, unless it's like, for example, very, very indulgent, like egg mayo or something with mayonnaise and it's like drenched in the sauce, then of course that's not the healthier option, right? However, sometimes whenever I have my CCA sessions, which is tennis, I realize that I need more carbohydrates for my meal. So during those times, I indulge in dishes such as chicken rice or nasi goreng because you need the carbo load. Okay, I make careful choices with regards to what I eat every day because I need to make sure that I stay fit and trim for my sport. Not only that, but I have also seen how a poor diet has led to a limited daily routine. Now, this is where you share an experience, an example. Okay, you explained yourself just now, right? Okay, by, giving some evidence of how you make your daily choice. Okay, but now you state, okay, you share an example outside of yourself. Okay, my grandmother has always been fond of eating oily food and not taking care of her health. Her typical food choices would include char kway teow and laksa dishes that are high in cholesterol and fat, right? Full of coconut milk, full of, lard, oil, whatever, right? As a result of her daily indulgences in the past, she is overweight now and is unable to move around too much. She has also been diagnosed with high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and diabetes, basically the three killer diseases, right? Which limits her ability to enjoy the dishes that she loves. I suppose she's been put on a strict diet by the doctors nowadays. Okay, students, therefore, you link it back to the question. Because of the example that I see my grandmother, I've tried to make careful food choices every day. All right, students, if you'd like to share with me your response, okay, please do so. All right, I'm happy to hear them, okay, whether through chat or whether to hear you verbally. It'd be nice to hear some of your voices, but if not, okay, now we'll go on to the spoken interaction section. Okay, remember that your response for plan response section needs to be for about 2 minutes. Okay, spoken interaction, basically your PU format again. Introduce and state your main idea, support with evidence, research, example, or personal experience. Okay, so this is your own example that you like to include, right? Explain your evidence and how you make your point in the context of your response. So these two are actually interchangeable. Okay, you can insert it accordingly as long as you explain whatever you've said. Okay, and of course you link it back to the question. Okay, so the video I had showed you just now, okay, please play it for yourself, okay, if you need a reminder of what to actually talk about for this particular question, okay. For the O-levels, your video is limited to about 20 seconds, at most 25 seconds, right? Okay, it's a very short clip.